Hello, hello, hello. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to CryptoTradersArena.com/buy the fucking dip. Anyway, happy Tuesday, I guess it is. The January 30th. It's already the first month of the year is gone. It'll be the end of the year in no time, which is so crazy. Time goes so fast. But hey, everybody in the chat. But I guess I'm back here on a Tuesday and also a couple hours early today. Hopefully didn't catch anybody too off guard, but I don't know. I thought I'd just move it up a couple hours. It's a little better for everybody in Europe, which does make up a pretty big part of our community. So maybe doing it when I normally do, it's a little too late. And I suppose for the moment I'm okay with that. So as long as if that's what works best for everyone, I'll probably start doing this show here at this time now, which I guess is 19 UTC, which is a couple hours before the stock market close and 2 hours earlier than I did last week for that matter. So I guess it's a little earlier in the evening for like Paul's in here right now, and so I guess it's a little earlier for him, that's for sure. But otherwise, the same, just another Tuesday. Talk about some crypto for a little while and see what we can dig up. I wish there was better like pound the table buys right now, but it's more of a like work our bids and wait patiently kind of market at the moment, if you're not already long, that is. And man, there's some things ripping for sure, and we're just sort of hoping for a pullback to buy. And a lot of the market sort of is just kind of stagnant with some front, I don't know, what would you say, just some stronger ones that are definitely ripping. Things like SUI, for example, is ripping pretty good. I noticed Render's bouncing pretty hard, and I have a feeling Render is going to be one of those trades that I regret never getting in on. Like, I just never got in on Render. And like I have a feeling that'll be one that's strong through the whole cycle that I'll just have to be on the sidelines for, which is hilarious. But we don't talk about Render that much, probably because it's just like it was early on in the run, and I don't know. I'm sure there's people in the group that are long. I'm not one of them, but I did just happen to look at it, and I like this Mountain Man tag is gonna. That was like the last. When was that? That was August 14th. God, look at that. They just like backed it right into 61.8 and then ripped it after being, after having a pretty strong move. Anyway, you can see this week it's pretty strong. It's already bounced up against the highs here. So I guess this is sort of the market we're in right now. I guess, some of these stronger ones are bounced back up against their previous high, and it's starting to get into short reload zones here, and we'll just have to see if the trend continues and we make new highs, or if there's a potential M coming in this. Of course, it looks really strong right here, but we'll just have to see. And every, there's different, like Solana, for example, is about to hit 61.8, and then Bitcoin hasn't gotten quite to 61.8 yet, but it's in the process. So, but actually, before I get too far ahead of myself, I just got off track on Render. But like, unfortunately, I mean, we can't really buy Render right here. Yeah, Constantine saying me neither. Yeah, I have a feeling a lot of us missed it because, well, to be fair, I wasn't paying great attention. When was that? That was right into January. Yeah, so it was like you would have had to be right on it there, and you did get the retest. Nice W's though. I mean, if anything, in hindsight, at least just look at like when that W fired here. If you were paying attention way back then, which I wasn't, in October, the buy opportunity was truly down in here when, drawing reload zones against that weekly W confirmation. So, I mean, going forward, that's the kind of stuff we're looking for now, right? Anytime we can see any sort of pullback into the W like this. Strong OBV the whole time. So it's a nice chart, but just kind of hard to do anything now. I feel like I've seen a lot of people talking about AI, though, lately. It seems like it's in the media, like in the crypto media, a lot lately. And of course, AI is definitely going to be a narrative. Even if AI, like, even if the relation, like, one of the things I saw was like Vitalik says 5 ways AI and crypto can connect, or I didn't even read the article, but something like that. And you know, if even if AI doesn't, I don't know what projects or how AI ends up impacting crypto, but at least as a narrative, there's no way in hell it's not going to be part of the story this cycle. So any name that has any connection to AI is probably worth considering just based on that. So that's one of the narratives for sure. AI. Of course, I think the Solana ecosystem is going to be a huge narrative going forward, and there's a lot in the news currently about that. So I could talk about it in a minute. But hell, I'm going to get off track again. I really quickly just wanted to mention this giveaway that we're doing anyhow, just for everybody. Might as well see if you can win some. We're giving away money now. There's so much free money and floating around the world. We thought we'd give some money away too. So, I mean, we were paying for. To be honest, we do like Twitter ads, and it's kind of more fun to just give money to somebody anyway than just pay Twitter. So we're doing our first giveaway of this sort, and so I guess we're just asking people to let's see. I think, yeah, like, repost, and tag 3 friends on Twitter if you have 3 friends you want to tag, and sucker them into our group. We'll enter you into this drawing, and you know, these are 3 different giveaways. I suppose we're giving away one Solana for the winner, and then somebody's going to win a month of premium, and then 200,000 WEN, which of course WEN's a big part of the news cycle right now. So we'll talk about WEN today, and hopefully you claimed your WEN. I think we reminded everybody several times, but that's actually closed now. So anyway, go. You can find this tweet on Crypto Traders Arena's Twitter, which is crypto_T_arena, and just follow the rules here. And I guess we're gonna do this drawing on Sunday here. Is that 2 weeks from now, or geez, the 11th? Is that Sunday? That's not a Sunday, Paul. It was Sunday, February 11th. I don't think February 11th is a Sunday. That's or wait, maybe it is. Maybe I'm wrong here. Oh, I'm stupid. It's 2 weeks from now. Paul's right. So I stick my foot in my mouth, and Paul's saying he's going to give away a couple INJ hearts or one. So I don't know if you're in our group and you've been following along, you might know about the INJ hearts, but I guess Stefan's promising refunds to everybody for that one. I wasn't involved actually, because I'm not. I need to. INJ is actually not a place where I'm set up to be trading, and I mean, one of my goals actually is to. Well, like I was saying, I do think Solana is going to be huge, and I'm already trading there. But I want to make sure I have I'm set up to trade on SEI. I'm already set up there. Injective, I haven't done anything. Although Injective's cool because that's a Cosmos, and I do trade. I actually, that's something we haven't talked too much. Maybe I could start looking at some of those names too. But the sort of Atom, well, the Cosmos network, whatever they call it, IBC, inter blockchain connectivity, is that what it's called? Anyhow, like I believe INJ is one of those Cosmos SDK or whatever. So that's a good place to trade. That's pretty cheap too. And like I've done some trading there for sure. And in fact, one of my best trades, AKT, Akash of this cycle so far is on that, you know, is part of that Cosmos SDK. And you can trade on Osmosis for pretty cheap. So that's a good one to look at. And I wonder what, now I'll really get off on a tangent, I suppose, but I feel like last cycle, like the Atom, you know, Atom was a pretty big story from last cycle, but it was like the Cosmos, like this Osmosis, well, Osmosis launched and the Cosmos SDK. I feel like it came out a little too late. Maybe I'm wrong and I'm not remembering this correctly, but I feel like it maybe came out a little too late in the cycle to have the impact that it might have had if its timing would have been a little better. And so it'll be interesting to see this time around if they get it together. There's, you know, there's some good names on it. and trading's relatively doable. It's not. I mean, I have to admit, Solana. So it's just Solana seems like it's running really. It's running so well, and even during this when airdrop, I mean, I claimed my when on some wallets right in the height of the like frivolity, like right on the launch, and it was smooth. And I didn't really pay up in fees or anything. And the network seemed to hold up pretty damn well. And I was reading, I don't know, I've been getting, I'm super bullish on Jupiter, and then the Jupiter airdrops tomorrow. And well, anyway, I'll try to talk about all that today to you a little bit, but and how that's impacting the whole Solana ecosystem. But either way, I'm super bullish on trading on Solana going forward. And I think like I know Carol's really hyped on SUI, and so I think it's worth also directing some attention there. And then we'll see about the Osmosis and Cosmos. Um, and then of course there's SEI too, which is I've done a little bit of trading over there too, and I think that'll probably have they claim to be faster than Solana. I've done some trading there, and so far the experience has been not as convenient as Solana, in my opinion. But anyway, talked about our giveaway. Of course, today's Tuesday, so maybe if you're up during the London session, you might have joined Stefan for live scalping. I know he was on YouTube scalping earlier today around the London session, and he does that every Tuesday. And then a little earlier today, we were in the New York session. Had a pretty good time. The markets are a little bit boring at the moment, to be honest, but tried to find some, well, at least some ideas. Talked about NFTs a lot. I'd like to be more involved in NFTs going forward, so I'm trying to learn a little bit. That's not really a place I've spent much time, but I'd love to hear about people's NFT ideas and trading strategies and stuff like that. I want to play around with that more in the future. But anyway, we were in the New York session as always, Monday through Friday. But on Tuesdays, that's open to anybody that's in our Discord. So if you were in that room today, that's awesome. Join us next Tuesday. If you weren't, we're always just in there kind of hashing out trade ideas. And, you know, it could range from anything from like scalping Binance perpetual swaps to like, well, Solana trading lately, a little bit of the futures market on the traditional market. And then we'll talk about like investment names and stuff and NFTs a little bit too. And like one person pointed out, Stan, which is a meme I'd missed. That's one that I added to my list today from that session. I don't think it's quite buyable or ready to buy yet, but I'm gonna watch it, and I'll get into those names today too. So I'm gonna try to cram I'm gonna try to cram a lot into today. I think the you know I have like a long ass list of altcoins to work bids on, but it's boring because it's just the same story for everyone. I'm just gonna draw my fibs and basically hunt 78.6. And I have a bunch that I'm gonna reload on. So it's I guess, you know, if you're not already long those, it's the same thing. It's just maybe I'm super comfortable reloading on something I already got a double on just as it comes back down into the reload zone. And at this point, it just becomes a question of how many names you're going to bid on, what names they're going to be, and get your bids working, and then wait for the pullback, and we'll see what happens. And you know, maybe we don't ever get the pullback, for example. So I was thinking about that, and that's just sort of the way it is for traders. Or maybe there won't. Maybe there will always be some sort of dip. Maybe there won't be a dip to reload zones, and so you do have to prepare yourself for that possibility, and then you become a trend continuation trader and you gotta buy something like a bear flag or like a trend continuation pattern, ABCD, you know, something that basically allows you to get in pump chaser zone. Like, are we in that kind of market where pump chaser zones on like weekly charts are going to be worth buying? I think it's a little early to call that, but maybe we can find some examples. But that might be the case, you know, like especially with something like Bitcoin, like maybe Bitcoin never comes down to reload zones. We don't know what's going to happen. It's likely it will, but I mean, we often say that the market likes to range more than trend. So like chances are it's like Bitcoin might have established the top of a range here recently with its like 61.8 tag. So this wouldn't be a huge stretch to think it could get down to reload zone someday, but it might not. And I could see something like a pump chaser zone on Bitcoin being where Bitcoin's probably going to bottom next, actually, which is without, I just said this on Sunday too, but there's this open air down here, and not a surprise that the pump chaser zone's actually just right in the middle of that open air. So like, I suppose like a trend continuation type environment for Bitcoin is possible, and we would expect to see some W down in here, so dip down into like, this is the same story I've talked about every day for a while here, but 36,000 and below, somewhere in there, a W in there would be kind of like trend continuation, right? We're just making higher highs and higher lows. Any consolidation down around here in this sort of likely area for a higher low would be just sort of a trend continuation type idea, right? And I suppose like altcoins, like something like Render might be that kind of trade too. So like going back to Render, if you really want to get long Render, you might not ever get the reload zone dip here on something that's just been so strong. So I suppose like on something like Render, we'd be hunting dips into like not a huge surprise against support, just like that high would like any kind of like solid consolidation in W here would be like the next buying opportunity for Render if you're thinking it's not going to come all the way back down, which it might not. So anyway, that's the kind of market we're in, right? We're in like, does this become an M and we get like a pullback? And is that pullback just a trend continuation pullback, or is it like a range pullback where we're going to get all the way into reload zone tags and stuff? And I guess none of us know for sure, right? I just know that like, something like this with Render, it's hard to imagine that it's going to do that, but it certainly can. I mean, but when I think about other things that have already almost made that pullback, I definitely think there's opportunities in altcoins. We'll see what happens, but let's see, what direction am I headed exactly here with this? And of course, if anybody wants to look at anything, like if you guys have any good ideas, I'd love to hear about them, because I feel a little bit stale on my ideas. Well, like I don't know what the different names, like I've spent most of my time fucking around Solana meme coins the last month, and it's definitely taken my attention. And then I guess I would call it my sex hot CEX investment plan. That's just like my business as usual Coinbase and Kraken centralized exchange buying weekly W's and selling halves on doubles plan. That's going to be a little different than like my on-chain plan, but that's the one, that's what I've talked about a lot over the last year. And I feel a little bit stale with that. Like I said, like I could, these are a lot of names I already have. And like a lot of these are just reloads, like I think I already talked about Vara last week, but things like this where like I banged a double out on Vara and it came right back down, and I already started reloading. I bought there and I got filled again at 88.6. So I'm just kind of hunting around 78.6 and 88.6 against the W's, just like I say all the time. But I mean, I could like go through and just one by one list these, but I mean, it is a little boring. But this is what I got to do. So like, I mean, like this ribbon RBN, and a lot of these are like this is like a Coinbase kind of name. I don't know if this is even on Binance, because of course I'm sort of See, it's on MEXC, which I think MEXC is going to be a player into this next cycle for sure. I think I saw somebody jokingly calling it it's like the Cryptopia of 2017. And of course, we all know what happened to Cryptopia afterwards. So maybe which one of these exchanges blows up in this cycle? MEXC, Gate.io, CoinX. They're all kind of along the same lines. BingX. I bet you one of those blows up in this cycle. We'll see which one. So always a reminder, be careful with, if you're going to be like, and I'm not commenting on any one of these specifically. I don't actually have experience with any of them. Except for BingX, which isn't even on this list right here, but and only limited at BingX anyway. But just remember, like even earlier in last year, I had to move everything off Qcoin, which was a headache, and That's nothing like having an exchange go belly up on you when you have funds on it. So, just remember the risk you're taking when you leave money on these pieces of shit. I have a friend that he doesn't leave money on anything. He'll get on these and buy them and withdraw everything immediately, and that's worked pretty well for him. I like to work my sell orders and stuff, so that kind of opens you up to, yeah, if you want to have your sell orders working, then of course you got to leave the coins on. So it's always a risk, but just keep that in mind and maybe try to pay attention to what's going on with your exchange of choice, and hopefully you can stay out of trouble. But I would bet one of these blows up. Of course, Poloniex was the king of exchanges in 2016 and 17, and uh, now it's just like a it's like, I don't know. I mean, there's like, seems like there's almost no volume there, but I mean, I've been kicked off of there for quite a while from the US. But I remember Poloniex had the great old troll box and just the band hammer and stuff. I don't know if anybody remembers Poloniex, but man, that is, talk about degenerates. The Poloniex troll box was like pretty awesome. I wish they should bring back the troll box like on like the deck screener or something. That'd be awesome if there was like a troll box on there. Anyway, what point was I getting at? Geez, well, I was kind of saying like all these are the same stories. So like whether you're into ribbon finance or not, I actually don't even really know what it is. It sort of just became one that I traded already here, based 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 on this like W that had come in back in the earlier part of the year. But now it looks a lot better now. Now there's a nice wide W. I've drawn my fibs here. I've already said I'm highlighting, I'm looking for 78.6 around W breakouts. So like, anywhere in that area right there is sort of the kind of zone I'm looking for. And all I'm really doing, so I mean maybe, I was kind of getting into, I could go through all these names in blue at the top of this list were just ones that I just quickly went through and was like, I got to make sure my bids are working. Like I don't have a bid working on this right now. But they're all kind of the same conversation, and it's just this same thing of like, if you can find, like this one has a nice base set here now, and it's a wide and tall W. So we like wide consolidations. Even just this whole bottoming phase was the whole accumulation year that we talked about all last year, and that's all behind us now. That's like kind of, that base is set now, and so anywhere you find like a nice W like that, I love to buy dips in against it. And I think it's pretty, yeah, like maybe this thing keeps cruising higher here, but it's pretty likely it starts pulling back here. And it's funny, it's kind of like a future crystal ball of sorts to like, we don't know where the high is here yet. We don't know where the top is, but the more the top starts lining 78.6 up with the W level. So even if you call, this is a pretty tall W, but say we draw that as our W breakout level. And if you just imagine, if you drag this up to 78.6, you could see how maybe this thing's going to pop higher still before it comes down. I don't know. But the more that 78.6 starts to line up with that W, the more likely I think this is rolled over and it's ready to come back and check that. And I do believe that they'll just politely come and check all of these before, giving the whales or the smart money or the people, the directors, not that you really call them directors in crypto, I suppose, but like whoever's running this shit, they're going to have one more opportunity to, load up again. They're probably going to sell the market back down off the top here. They're going to just take profits here and drive it back down. I do think that'll happen on most of these, it's just a question of, well, we don't know for sure. And so that's that whole thing. Like on the flip side, so like, well, let's put it this way. So just using this one as an example again of whether or not I have to go into trend continuation mode, because that's sort of that's how I would look at this, is like, I'm looking at this as a range, most likely. So I'm thinking there's probably a top of the range somewhere in here. You can see like M's in a lot of things, like Solana has an M, and I think it's likely to the reload zone's checked again. So I'm like hunting around here, and I'm gonna have bids working right here. But how will I know if it's like a trend continuation thing, and when do I have to like change my sentiment and think we're not going to dip this low? And it would be that sort of Collins pump chaser zone idea. It's like if price gets down into this area right here, but really starts putting in like W's, or, think like bull flags or whatever. Like a bull flag would be like if this thing does any sort of flag consolidation, like it could be like a downwards one or whatever, like a flag and then it breaks out, or it could be like a pennant, which is more shaped like that. So it would not necessarily be down in the pump chaser zone, but we start seeing like, that kind of breakout, and that's like a bull pennant, I suppose. I don't really trade pennants and flags particularly. Like I don't actually hunt those patterns. But the point is like I would hunt like the pump chaser zone. The same idea. Like you could argue that the pump chaser zone and a bull flag is actually the same locate. It's like the same trade location, or the same idea. You're looking for a huge breakout, and then you're looking to trade a trend continuation move off of the first like solid consolidation period, which was this. I mean, this is an ugly ass one. You could have argued there was a flag in there, especially if you zoomed in. Maybe like it would be cleaner, but like you can kind of see the big move up, and then it sort of did this. This is the flag technically, I'd say, and then broke out again. So anyway, point being is like what happened if we might have to shift gears a little. I mean, I'm not saying this is going to happen for sure, but if we start seeing the majority of altcoins don't want to come down and they're starting to break out again from these kind of levels, might have to start hunting trend continuation mode. And I suppose if you don't already have a plan for that and a setup for that, then you're going to have a hard time. So it's kind of why I always view trading as two types of trades. There's either range or trend, and so you kind of always, me personally, I like to have one of each kind of in my back pocket. It'd be nice to have a trend continuation trade. Like we've got our THG indicator, which is a great, like you could go into swing trader THG mode here if like the market seems too bullish and doesn't want to dip deeper than 38.2s, then we can kind of go into THG mode even on a swing trading. It doesn't even have to be like day trading. You could do like a 1 hour THG and just start buying THG trend continuation breakouts on altcoins. And I'm not trying to sound overly bullish. I don't know. I don't think that'll happen I think there's going to be a lot of reload zone tags. So I'm just sort of trying to weigh both sides, like that's a possibility that you'd have to shift into that sort of mentality, because I don't know, I am getting more and more bullish. I don't want to sound like some like overly biased bull, but I am feeling pretty positive about this, and definitely pullbacks are buying opportunities. So it's just a question of, is it a pullback that goes all the way to reload zones, or is it a trend continuation pullback that's only like into the pump chaser zone? And I'll just be using weekly and daily charts for this. I'm mostly considering the potential range, or or what's being established right now in most of these altcoins, which look like this, some sort of move higher. And now we're kind of in the beginnings of the consolidation, the first consolidation after that move. And of course that's timed with like Bitcoin just doing what Bitcoin did. So it all makes sense that Bitcoin ran up into short reloads and got rejected. So it's just a question of what happens with Bitcoin too, as we get, like you can see Bitcoin hasn't quite made it to 61.8 yet here. That's like at 45. We're making our way up here. And I know that Paul's already talking about shorting this area. And that makes sense. I talked, him and I and probably everybody else that sort of thinks this way has already mentioned that. Now that now that Bitcoin got a 61.8 rejection, made the 3-bar fractal, and is bouncing back up into short reload zones, that's very shortable in my opinion now. That's totally worth. And I'm kind of talking more like swing trading or even lower time frame trading, not so much like I'm going to sell all my spot Bitcoin right here and hope Bitcoin goes to zero. Not that so much, just more like when we get up into here, and it's likely we might have to roll over and start this buy the dip process, which of course is going to drag everything else down with it, is all I'm saying. So So I don't know. Let's see. Am I saying anything worthwhile here? Let me worthwhile. What's Mexi has some stupid rule that I can't withdraw 24 to. Oh yeah, that sucks. You can't withdraw 24 to 72 hours after a trade. Oh, so if you bought something on Mexi and then wanted to immediately withdraw it, they don't let you. Damn. And can I have a look at Shido? Yeah, maybe I'd rather look at new stuff. That was kind of the long-winded way of me saying, like, I'd rather hear some new names if you guys have them. Otherwise, I'll just fill in with some of the ones that I think people should have bids working on, or at least I have. But none of them are like brand new. Let's fucking go all in, kind of. And of course, we don't go all in here. It's not really our style. Um, but just something shiny and new. Like I don't have any shiny and new ideas. There's a bunch of shitcoin memes and stuff, but I think that those don't really qualify for what I'm. They're not like quality. But let's look at that Shido here. Let's see here, Shido. And I do have some other requests too that I wanted to look at if I have time. I guess we'll look at it here on MixC. Pretty solid project and still under 100 million market cap, but has very huge pump in the last couple of months. Well, yeah, wow, look at that. Yeah, that thing's up quite a bit, huh? Oh, 01 up to 01. Yeah, that's a 10x off a. I mean, yeah, something like this. I mean, maybe we could find a little bit more. Let's look at it on CoinGecko here really quick just to see the total history, what's going on. They moved from BSC and ETH to ETH contract, huh? So it's recently restructured somehow. Looks like it bumped along the bottom. Well, since last October, so it's not super old. It's been around since October of last year, and I guess that's just basically the same chart as this. Yeah, so that's so it's the same data. Go to a daily chart just to look at it a little bit closer. I mean, I can't really suggest buying this here. I mean, I do like, in hindsight, I like the idea maybe of buying that W that broke out. It never gave a retest, so you'd have had to be there. And even that wasn't like a reload. I'd say that's a good trend continuation. That kind of was what I was just talking about here. You know, if you'd have missed this move, you would have just either been hunting reload zones and never got your fills. The reload zone was way down here. Actually, funny enough, you got your Mountain Man fill though. See, that's the thing is like probability wise, reload zone tags are pretty high compared to, yeah. So going back to what I was saying earlier, I still do think like this is, yeah, like here, see how they just, I mean, so I should maybe add a third. It just depends on how bullish you are. Cause like clearly, like if you would have been like thinking Collins pump chaser zone right here, he still would have been okay if you were kind of, you know, depending on whether you had to stop or not, and what kind of trading you were doing. But, you know, dips into the 50% level here weren't the worst places to be a buyer. But it's funny how if you had just patiently waited for 61.8, then you would have been rewarded very well. That's just like Render, actually. That's the exact same week as Render, probably. Yeah, right into the end of the year. But that is a pretty good example of how like the bull was like a little too bullish to really get a reload zone dip. And so all that really happened is they did put this M in and then they just kind of shook everybody out on when they took these lows out. So we might, you know, this could be this, that was sort of the point I was trying to make, is something like this could be the future if the bull is just too strong. And there's just really no way to know. We don't know. I mean, we kind of go off what we do know, which is there's probably going to be a little bit of a dip before the halving in Bitcoin. I don't know if this is true or just anecdotal on my part, but I feel like altcoins will probably have a dip around the halving, if not before, maybe even a little after. I do think the dip's coming, but anyway, this is all hindsight, but shit, if you'd hit Mountain Man there, you'd have been good. But now, I mean, what can you really do now? I don't think you can do anything. Like, here's an M now, so it's kind of the opposite here. If you put a line chart on, you see the M was already, you know, we actually got an M, and then we got a retest of the M, and then a fail. So this is already a top. Whether it turns out to be the top or not is hard to say, but if you're just kind of weighing your weighing probability here and using the tools that we use like to call a top, like then we'd actually have to call some amount of a top here because it's an M. So and you can see it break down. So all I can really do now is draw my fibs and hunt 78.6s really, which is going to be way down here. And I could use the fibs off of this low here. I suppose if you're more aggressive, you could use this low, and that's okay. And it doesn't change things a ton, but it does move the reload zone up a pretty good deal, actually. But you can see how we need moves all the way down here before this can be considered again. So I don't know. This is the thing. Like, this is the part where it's like you probably like I could always put my foot in my mouth so easily talking on YouTube about something like this because I mean, my plan and everything that I know about this stuff and my plan tells me to wait for a reload zone, and that's what I'm going to do. I'm not going to buy right here. However, it might just turn around and rip from here, and then people will be mad at me because I said don't buy it here. But when you think, if you want to think like a professional trader, you have to just think about trade location, and this isn't a great location here. Sure, if you want to trade the pump chaser zone, I think you could trade the pump chaser zone. You just got to wait for this to actually consolidate and turn bullish again, which it has not done yet. So I can't do anything here, but it's cool to keep it in. I mean, I don't know what it is exactly. I wonder if it has to do with Bushido. Isn't Bushido that cool? Like, sort of like I don't. Well, it's like a moral code kind of. Um, Anyway, that's cool. There's a couple other requests. Maybe I'll just look at those for fun here. Oh, we got like, oh yeah, there's some high flyers in there like Manta. All those are some of the trending high flyers. Or these are, and those might be well AI and then XAI sound AI names. Sound like AI names. I can't even say that. I'm having a hard time getting the words out. Wait, can I have a request? Maximum a song, I think. Well, Miroslav did say that Shido is a solid project, so I don't know. Go look into it if people are interested. I do kind of think that I'd rather, or I don't kind of think I'm not going to entertain this until I mean even 78.6, it's kind of it's just the move was so big. It's hard to make too many claims about what might happen now. I do see this M and OBV coming in. That's not a great sign. So it kind of looks topped out to me though, for sure. What else we got here? Well, yeah, like Manta. I see the problem is, I mean, that's the kind of unfortunately the state is of market we're in is if you're trying to frame investment trades. Like this one seems to have a lot of attention lately, and I mean, it's relatively. I think they just launched the mainnet here like recently. I don't know the exact story behind this, but I mean, you could see it's kind of looks like when looked out the gates here. So this is only, I mean, this is a daily chart. So this is from January 18th, and it's just been kind of straight up. I don't know. I don't know how to strategize this exactly other than just, well, assuming there's no other previous trade history. I don't know exactly what's going on here, but I mean, I do like the idea of trying to get like sniper entries at the low. Now, do you get it would take some sort of move, something badass to happen to drag price down there, but that's never a bad place to think about being a buyer. It's just going to be like less likely you're going to get filled. And then after that, I think you just got to draw some reload zones here and just say, okay, well, this is sort of that first burst. If you're long from a reasonable place, aped in, and you're riding this, then great. But if you're not long, it's sort of dangerous to just kind of step in right here. Unless you had some sort of fundamental model for valuing this thing, which I think is probably next to impossible. Or some other way of like thinking price is moving higher, some sort of rational idea. I don't. So I just have to use the same tools I use all the time. It's very simple. And it's exactly the same discussion I just talked about. Like I can wait for the pump chaser zone here and see if there's any sort of flag or or a consolidation period that sets up W's that would allow me to maybe think about just buying the dip as like a trend continuation trade, so I could start my hunt here. And that's okay. Like if you see W's coming in here and you want to buy a W breakout and look for a move to a new high, I do think momentum's at your back here. This thing seems to have a lot of positive energy in it right now and attention on it. So maybe or you just or we don't get any W's here and you just patiently wait for our range setups to come in. And most of our range setups focus on 61.8 and below. And then of course this level is sort of like the FU. That's like the last range setup, right? Like the FU is like the sniper, the sniperist, if that's a word, the snipiest, cheapest bastard. You're gonna get less fills, but when you do get a fill, your risk to reward is huge, and it's not unreasonable to think if they do dip price down in there, they might just FU everybody. Anybody that's got stops against the lows and just turn around and rip it after everybody's panic sold the bottom. I think Paul's long. I think those guys have like a swing long or something in here. I don't know. So on lower time frames, I'm sure the longs probably was on, but like even that, like if you're looking at lower, this, I don't want to get too much into the lower time frames, but even just looking at an hour chart, this is starting to look kind of M-ish to me, right? So it kind of looks like not a great place to be thinking new longs right here. Let's maybe this M comes in and then we start thinking about shorting retest of the M even, but I'm not in this at all. I did when I first heard about it back here. I was kind of looking into bridging into it or something, but I can't buy this on Coinbase or Kraken. So I would have had to just buy it on chain, which seems cool. I'll keep an eye out on it for it, but bearing that in mind too, I'm hunting more down here. If if we can get pullbacks in here, then maybe I can do something. Yeah, I got some other requests here. Well, alt, AI, and XAI. Let's look at all those really quick. I'm gonna have a hard time covering. I don't know. I'm not gonna. Part of my problem is I'm trying to cram too much in here. And then I start getting off on tangents, and I can't. There's no way I can fit it all in. But I'll try to speed it up a little bit. I mean, and I shouldn't spend too much time talking about these. Anyway, this one's almost the exact same as Manta. I mean, that's an hourly chart there. It's a little newer than Manta, but it's same exact thing. It's like, it is nice to see though that like these new issues are coming out of the gates strong. I think that's like a good sign for the market in general, as opposed to like just getting sold off by whoever was the early, pre-sale buyers or whoever needs liquidity to get out of their early investments. At least they're not just getting like dumped to hell here, but like if you were to buy, this is like Solana meme coin trading. If like, okay, fine, ape in there if you want, but know that you could just get so run over. You could wake up or just an hour later could be down 50% when price dips down to somewhere in here. So there's not like a lot you can really do with this except those same sort of concepts I was just talking about. Wait for some sort of bull flag type trend continuation trade and try to get on a W, get in on a W, or wait for reload zones and try to get a better location. And if you have a bunch of free coins from an airdrop or something, ride that shit into Valhalla. I don't know. AI. We'll look at the AI one. So, but that's a stock, isn't it? Or I guess that's crypto. AI, C3 AI. That's probably that one. Or this on Binance, probably. Wow, these look the same. So this one's actually kind of going through that sort of pump chaser consolidation though. So this kind of a better example of that trade, I suppose. Like, if you were to just draw fibs off of the actual range here, which is just the first candle, you can kind of see how they ripped it up there, brought it down into the pump chaser zone, and even all the way to Mountain Man. So kind of deeper than the pump chaser zone, but still same concept. It's like started consolidating right above Mountain Man, and this little W right there seemed like a pretty okay place to be a buyer. Like if you were watching this and you could have gotten in on that breakout, This would be like a trend continuation trade that makes sense to me. Like, and you're basically just buying that breakout and maybe risking even to this low here. So you have like 3 higher lows kind of thing to work with. And so your stop's down against that low and you're going to walk away on a loss of that because basically a loss of that level is suggesting that this isn't a trend and it's actually a range. And so whatever, you could see like even a 3-to-1 trade seems pretty realistic. Like it's 58% move. Looks like the trade's going in your favor. I like that. I don't really like buying it right here because then look how the risk to reward changes a lot. You're still risking down to there. Then all of a sudden, 3-to-1 requires this huge 107% move, or well, whatever, 100% move to a new high. Might still happen, but hopefully you can just see why we don't like to chase. It just kills your risk to reward. Not to mention they might just rip it right back here the other way. But that's a good example of that trend continuation trade on these newer ones. So imagine like Manta doing something like that. To go back to Manta, see if it does that, up here, basically somewhere up in this area, kind of. Even if it went all the way to 61.8, so somewhere in that area is kind of where we're probably going to be looking for. If Manta's still strong, we should be looking for those same kind of W's as that AI. Just kind of some sort of consolidation. What else? XAI. I think that's another ripper, though. I mean, that's the hard part. Is it's hard to. I mean, this one looks very similar too, but maybe it looks like it's in the pump chaser zone, but it hasn't really experienced much consolidation yet. Yeah, so it dipped down into the pump chaser zone and put in a little bit of a W. So I suppose that's a daily chart. If you were to look at like a 4-hour chart, that W is probably a little clearer, but same kind of idea. You could have, this one might even still be tradable here as it pulls back and maybe makes a new W. So you actually get 3 higher lows. I mean, you definitely want to see some sort of, I would say with trend continuation, you want to see some sort of like at least 1 W, but maybe even more. So it's like you're kind of hunting that. Or maybe you want to do like a trend line or a moving average break kind of thing, like where you've got a moving average and you're looking for a W on the other side of that. But you really want to see something like that, something that gives you a little more faith that this isn't going to just roll back down to reload zones. So yeah, I'd be looking for something like that if I was going to try to trade this. Hey, Hanya. Hanya has Ultra. That's one I don't know about. I suppose it's probably like early in the morning for you, Hanya, maybe like 5 a.m. or something. Ultra. I don't know what that is. Let's look for that one. Yeah, it was a Qcoiner or DFire. I'm going to go to a weekly chart. And I like to stick to the weekly charts for this in general, for these investment ideas. And I'll go to a daily if there's less history. But if there's this much history, I found that weekly chart gives you all the information you need. And I think there's not that much point drilling down. And this one has all the, well, it has most of the fixings of what we like. I mean, really, when I pull something up like this, the first thing I'm going to do is look at the old cycle and see the W and see the highs and be like, okay, well, I did make a pretty big move, but right away, I would maybe think that's an interesting level there, the W. And you can see how that's what we need to happen now. This is a good example of what I think could easily happen. This is why your bids have to be working. That's the whole point of this. So like if the W is in, nice move. This is the area we're in right now. Like altcoins are kind of hovering around this potential M, maybe even an M. In any moment, this particularly, or that wasn't even COVID, that was in 2021. But see how they politely just dipped it all the way into 78.6 and the previous W? I mean, I can't find a better example of the thing I've been talking about. This is exactly it. I could draw the green box just to reiterate. I mean, so of course they dipped it all the way to 88.6, but either point still applies. Like if your bid was just at 78.6 or right at this red line at the breakout right near 78.6, that would have been a sick trade. I can't tell you how many times I've done that trade, this very trade. I've done it so many times now. I'm not saying it always works, but then again, like context is everything. Like again, we're in the this is the context we're in right now. We're in this context right now. That's like exactly the context of altcoins at the moment, I'd say. So it's just a question of do they dip down, and they likely will. And when they do, I do anticipate something like this happening on the other side because we've already been through that whole sideways accumulation year, and we're starting to turn the corner now. And so any that's just a gift, something like that. But anyway, same thing applies like till now. I mean, you could see how even here, if you're shopping at that level, did you get a double there? Yeah, looks like it. So even, even now, even in the next cycle, that's why we look left and we highlight that area. You wouldn't have gotten filled right there, and you would have been mad because it would have taken off without you. You'd have just missed your. Well, you wouldn't have if you had had a 78.6 bid. Actually, if you would have been bidding at my W level, you would have gotten left out. But 78.6 bid right there would have banged a quick double out. It looks like 22 cents up to 48 cents. So yeah, you could have sniped a quick little double there. And then even hitting it here would have made another double. And now you'd be underwater if you hit that level, but not the worst. And there's also a new W in here, so I like this actually. This isn't the most pretty W, and I'd probably use the candle body high as the breakout level, so right there instead of up here at the wick. But I'm sure if I draw my fibs here, that's probably around 88.6, maybe 78.6, but yeah, you can see like it's right in between 78.6 and 88.6. So I kind of like any dips into there as a pretty decent level. That's not the best looking W. It's okay. There's even a little one, there's a little like 4 candle W right there too. But there is one thing I was going to mention. So in general, I like it. Location's really good. Both location considering the previous cycle and the current location. Nice bottom of the range trade. There's not like a lot of open air below this low here. Like, basically the old lows are right there. So seems pretty decent. But the last thing I wanted to end with is just look at OBV. It's not my favorite. It's actually emming out and trending down. So if you wanted to be super patient, you could always wait for a W in OBV and maybe even a W in price again to just sort of reaffirm. But in general, I like that. If you like the name, seems to fit the thing at 6:30 in the morning, huh? So yeah, that's cool. Well, let's see here. Damn, it's already been 50 minutes, and I'm just sort of like, well, I'm just kind of having fun. And like I said, I think more it's almost more important to, well, just to sort of repeat the concept, and then you guys go find the names that you like and see if you can. Well, I mean, you can't. I'm not saying you should do exactly what I'm doing. I'm just saying that what I'm doing does work if you're willing to implement it. But let's see. I do want to talk about some stuff that I have on my list. So I have a couple more requests that I'll kind of hit here and there. I wanted to just mention a couple things about Solana too, just mostly that. Let's see. Do I want to jump onto Solana just now, or do I want to maybe talk about a couple more? Well, I'll just move on to that for a minute because I just wanted to mention the airdrops and that. Well, we missed if you didn't claim your win, you already missed that. So that happened, but that kind of took a lot of the Solana liquidity here. So maybe this is even what I want to look at here. 24-hour yeah, by volume. You can kind of see how like this is when's taking all the volume right now. Even like that pair's got 34 million. And then there's a couple more pairs when that one's got like another 9 million. So like it's like a good chunk of the market is going to when right now, which is probably killing the meme coins a little bit, the other ones. And then tomorrow there's a Jupiter airdrop, which is probably the biggest event for Solana so far in the last, since, well, this cycle, you could maybe even argue. I suppose Bonk was sort of like Bonk kind of kicked off the Solana craze. And then now this Jupiter airdrop is a pretty big deal. And so if you're eligible for that, that starts tomorrow, I think, and the launch of the coin also starts. So that thing will be trading tomorrow. So I think the only point I wanted to make about the meme coins is I'm still interested in them, but I think probably, you know, if you want to like work stick bids, you might be able to get filled on shit as like liquidity gets dragged over to Jupiter or JUP or whatever the coin's going to be called exactly. So it might be an opportunity to hunt bids, but at the same time, like I'm a little bit hesitant to put on too many new positions heading right into that airdrop tomorrow. So that's a pretty big fundamental event for Solana. Be pretty interesting to just watch it and see how the network performs and see what happens. But if we look at like when, let's see. I mean, you can kind of recognize the pattern from those other like Manta and all. This is kind of the new. This is like the new issue state of the market right now, kind of ripping up right out the gate. This did the same thing. I mean, you know, you had one solid dip you could have bought against like pump chaser zones here, and then they kept pushing it. Now it looks kind of broken. It's actually got like a head and shoulders top here, so sort of seems like when is in pullback mode. It's already probably down in reload zones. And so I don't know what my point to that is, other than it looks like this one's rolled over and we're heading right into the Jupiter airdrop tomorrow, which probably expect something similar to this. Maybe it goes higher, I don't know, but like probably see something like that. But that's gonna draw all the attention away from like shit coins. So be careful trying to expect like volatile upside moves on shit coins. I think probably over the next 24 hours. And then, funny enough, the Fed's tomorrow, right? Yeah, there's a Fed announcement, interest rate announcement. Or wait, sorry, Wednesday. Or wait, what's today? Tomorrow is Wednesday. So yeah, there's actually an interest rate meeting tomorrow too, which I don't know how much that affects Solana shitcoins, but it's definitely gonna have people's eyeballs on. So like the broader market's probably gonna be pretty like calm heading into that event. We'll see. Like it'd probably be a pretty boring trading day in like futures market earlier in the day tomorrow. Um, so anyway, what's my point? Really, I'm just pointing it out. There's going to be this big event. Jupiter's probably uh, going to take all the attention, and then really, I'm so bullish on Jupiter. Actually, after I feel like an idiot because I'm sort of a late comer. I wasn't really paying much attention to Solana until like a month ago, but I was like reading more about this, you know, the main guy from Jupiter. I was just reading his Twitter, and he just seems legit as hell. Like his name's like Wur Meow, I think, or something. Man, he seems like a sharp dude, and just kind of like his value. I like align with his values. I like the way he talks about stuff, and I like his approach to all this. And really, I just see Jupiter's. You know, one, it works awesome. It works really well. Of course, you can work limit orders and so I've been like working away just like I banged out one double actually even in this market today, which wasn't that great on this fucking phony boards, and I did it with the limit order and I got filled. I've had some trouble uh getting fills here and there. Like I got filled in this wick here on a limit order. I guess I have it drawn on I mean, I've been trading this thing all my lines are like different trades I've had on, but the most recent trade was these pink ones. And I, you know, I just, you could see I was buying the dip into 78.6, had to go underwater for a while, and it did rip up and fill me, and then came all the way back down to below my entry. So did bang another free position on this, and it might go to zero now. But point being is like Jupiter is awesome, and I did that with the limit order. And I saw another thing about Jupiter too, where they're basically trying to onboard any Ethereum apps that want to jump over. They're going to basically work hard to expedite the process of getting them on Solana. And started having the thought that, I mean, the one problem with Solana that I see, or it's not a problem, but the one thing that's sort of a bummer about it is none of these coins really have any, like, they're mostly just shitcoin memes. Not that like some of them kind of have some utility, but it'd be cool to start like seeing some sort of more established projects perhaps, or something that's got a little bit more I don't know, usefulness behind it. And I just started thinking all it would take is a couple a few apps moving over from Ethereum to Solana to really sort of like, you know, just empower Solana even further. Because I mean, it is like, damn, it's fast, it works, it's way cheaper than Ethereum. it's been in the news lately this week that like they've kind of flipped volume on Ethereum a couple times here, probably mostly due to the When airdrop. So I don't know if that's a fair comparison, but because of the When airdrop, they like I think they even surpassed Ethereum's trade volume on dexes for a brief moment. So anyway, super bullish Jupiter. So does that mean I buy Jupiter right when it launches? I don't know. I'm not part of the first airdrop because that the snapshot was from November and I wasn't trading on Jupiter in November. So I think I will be eligible for the next airdrop. Uh, Although I don't really know the terms. And of course, if you want to find that, I think you can just go to Jupiter's it's like lfg.jup.ag or something. And see you can see if you're eligible. Or actually, I'll just that other Solana checker is a good tool too. Do I have that link anywhere? Well, I don't want to waste time finding it, but there's a really good website. Let's see if I can find it really quick because I did save the link. Ah, shit. Just pop into the chat and ask for it, and I'll find it later. There's Solana. There's a nice airdrop checker for Solana where you don't have to connect your wallet or anything. You can just throw the address in and check. So maybe if you traded on Jupiter at all during October, early November last year, you might have this airdrop, and I think it's gonna be a pretty big deal. But anyway, just pointing out that airdrop's happening and it's going to have an effect on Solana market. So maybe like work some bids and maybe I'll just go through really quickly, go through some of the coins I am interested in. Cause for the Solana memes for me, I think it's like a good time to start considering the ones that, well, are stronger ish or more established. So I'm kind of making sure I'm like reloading on some of these that were good trades for me already. And like, seem like they have enough staying power to possibly be like way higher down the road in a bull run. And like of course Bonk, I'm not in Bonk, but like this one's been the leader. But I think it's worth looking at Bonk really quick just to kind of see that it's in horrible location and looks like it has a lot more down. So like if this one's leading the market, then that doesn't look particularly great. Like ironically, it's in a reload zone now, but it still looks like it could easily come off some more. So I'm not really shopping for Bonk. But there's some other ones that I'm not saying they're like blue chips or anything, but they're just ones that I'm gonna that I want to reload on. So like I think Wen's not one of them, but I think I already mentioned Wen. Yeah, but Wen just looks like it's rolling over. I was thinking this ABCD might come in. It didn't want to quite get up there. Now I see a head and shoulders top. So I don't know. Probably got to draw reload zones on Wen, but I think I could easily see hunting longs down in reload zones on Wen. So this is one that I would say reloading is not the right word here because I haven't sold halves on doubles or anything. I did get the airdrop in several wallets, so I am long. But I'll wait for W's here. This is just starting to like trend down. It looks kind of like ABCD is almost completed. So let's see what happens when we get to this level here. Like just draw a couple ABCDs and you can see how that's right in the middle of the reload zone. So let's see what happens when Wen gets down there. But that's not really the one I'm more interested in. Like so here's some ones that I think have really nice looking charts. Like Baby Bonk is just one that I don't know too much about. It was a community takeover coin. Clearly it was from back in November. They ripped it hard and now it's just made this nice sideways channel here all the way down at the bottom. And I actually did bang. I guess I banged a double out in that, or was it that move? Let's see. I don't have a. Oh yeah, it was right here. So I banged a double out there, and then I've already started reloading here twice actually. Or that was my first buy, so that was my double, and then I reloaded the purple line. And I'm just kind of nibbling on this thing. I think they'll easily pop it up to the top of the range again here down the road, but that's a nice looking chart. So like something like this that's already kind of made the whole pattern that we sort of look for on the weekly charts. This is just a daily chart and it's made this pattern since November 27th. So just a couple months, but I love how that looks. Nice W's coming in. And then here, that's not really a W here. Maybe it needs to W one more time, but I really like I feel like this one could easily down the. I mean, that's a 003. So 10x would be the high. So like it would have to take out the highs to 10x, but this is something I could see. You know, it's 330 market cap right now. 10x 3.3 million. I could see this thing being 5 million in the easily in a bull run. I mean, to be honest, it could be way higher. I'm being conservative, but I could see how this is something I could see like if I just kind of keep trying to sell halves on doubles and nibbling away. I think I could see this one being around, and it's got a good enough. You know, it's the baby of bonk and I don't know, stupid memes. Like it's got a relatively decent enough story, but anyway, just hunting these ones that are sort of a little bit more established. Like here, Solzilla is another one. I mean, had an amazing trade in this run up. And then I've been, I reloaded a little too early. I first reloaded here. And so I went underwater on that trade. But then I managed to bang out a couple more doubles. Let's see what I mean, my shit's a mess here. I still got, yeah, I banged out a double on the blue one. I have a double level working way up here. And then I've reloaded 2 more times, I think. Yeah, so my lowest level now is this pink line. So I got a double level here and then one up here. So I'm just gonna keep building cars on this thing. I'm just gonna keep on keeping on with the old Solzilla and I mean, look at this chart, man. It's a nice chart. Go to a daily. Doesn't look as nice on the daily because it's not as W-y, but you can see the W here. Now the breakout, we came down into it right at 78.6. Same stuff I talk about on those other coins. And so like if you can get long anywhere here around 1830 and maybe just for fun, we draw this on there and I don't know, where's 10x? Like this one 10x is well to new highs. So yeah, quite a bit higher for 10x. So maybe not a 10x on this one still. Well, we'll see. I mean, if hell, it was 100xer back here. What's this one? But see, this one's only this one's 1.3 million, so it's a little bigger than the other one I was just showing you, Baby Bonk. But it's also a little bit more established. And I think like, yeah, 10 million market cap in a bull market for this is conservative. So I this is another one I just want to keep on, I don't know, nibbling at and selling halves on doubles if I can. This one I think is cool too. Is Omni. This one well, let me zoom out a little bit and just. I mean, it's funny. Like, I could go through the other altcoins, but these are actually a little bit more exciting to me because they move more volatile, and I do think, you know, maybe like hunt dips into the airdrop tomorrow, and so like something like this. Well, first, the reason I like this is like if you look down here, OmniCat is the first omni-chain meme coin powered by Layer 0. It exists on 6 EVM chains and Solana. So like it's on Ethereum, it's on does it say here? It's like on Arbitrum, Matic, and I can't remember. Oh, it says right here. Yeah, Arbitrum, Polygon, Canto, BSC, and Base, and Solana. And so the funny thing about like this is a meme coin that has like a really cool utility in my opinion because it's a bridge, you know. So if you wanted to bridge from Ethereum to Solana, you could just buy this Omni coin and bridge it on their platform or whatever. And I don't know what the fees are or anything, and if it's cheaper. I'm thinking it's probably cheaper than bridges. I don't know, maybe not. But I think that's like an interesting utility for a meme coin because it'll allow you to bridge around all those chains relatively easily. So that's their use case. Makes a lot of sense to me. But and it's a cat. It's a fucking cat. I feel like I have like 10 or 15 cat memes now. Which is hilarious. I'm getting to cat lady status of meme coins. But anyway, so I like this Omni and this one I actually did bang a double off in this move and I had a horrible I aped in, banged a double, didn't get any profit, and then went way underwater. But anyway, point being now, it's a nice base setting up here, and so it's sitting right here at in the reload zone, against that, I kind of drew a line off the candle body W here, and you can see that's like sort of support right here, and we'll see if it holds or not. But I actually like buying against this trend line here, and if it can stay kind of above this trend line, I think it's just holding into the potential beginning of an uptrend. If it starts losing the trend line, we probably got to come down to the lows here, which would just offer like cheaper buys. And I'm not saying this is like a pound the table buy. I'm just kind of saying I like the idea, and then when I pull up the chart, I see a big W and I see a pullback now coming into decent levels, and I like the idea, so I'm gonna just kind of nibble on this one. This one is more like I think it's like 30 million market cap, because it says 5.6 right here, but that's just what's on Solana. And I kind of quickly added it up in my head the other day, and it was around 30. So I think this is probably more like 30, 35 million market cap. So I don't know, like, I mean, I don't know what's a decent market cap for a shitcoin meme coin. I mean, it could be pretty high. I mean, Bonk went to like the billions. I think Bonk went over a billion in market cap. Maybe, I don't know how high it went. Way high. So I don't know. I'm not saying this one's going to go to a billion, but I don't know. Maybe at 300 million, maybe, if it really is. I don't know. But nonetheless, that's just one that I kind of like the idea. I guess the main point I'm getting at here is just like, can we employ the same kind of principles as we're doing for like a weekly investor charts? Like, are some of these meme coins established enough now to do that? And I think they are. Like Solzilla is a great looking chart. This one's got a nice base working here. It's a little steeper. I don't know. So it might have more time. It's got to just bounce around, but I like it in general. And like another one that would fall into that would be Popcat, another cat. This one's a 10 million market cap. I've also just been range trading this, basically been involved in all of these moves. And mostly recently have basically reloaded right around 78.6 here. But I mean, this is the same thing, like big rip, comes all the way down, starts putting in W's, big rip again, comes all the way down to 78.6, starts putting in W's. They're just not there yet. So like, there's no rush here probably, but like, that's a nice level here on Popcat. And I don't know, it seems like it's established enough. So I like that. So I'm trying to, well, not trying, I've reloaded on that one, and I'm just trying to bang out another double. And then like another one, let's see here, those are like Solzilla, Baby Bonk, and Popcat are like three that I think the charts are really nice looking and basically buyable now. And then there's like just some favorites that seem cheap. Like Popo is one that we've been trading a lot and has sort of been a favorite around our degen room lately. And they might not make it. I don't know. I mean, it's a cool project. It seems it's sort of up in the air. I don't know what's going to happen, of course. And it doesn't look good here. It looks actually really horrible to me. It's the only thing it's got going for it is 88.6 location. It came all the way back down to 88.6, but there's certainly no W's here, and it's still trending lower, it looks like. So, I mean, this is one that maybe like in tomorrow's event, you could get filled down against the lows. Like I could see maybe like, that's zero probably. So, well, not quite, but maybe not zero, but like close. Like, so, I mean, hunting deep dips into here might be worthwhile. I just don't think it's turned yet. The only thing I could say about it is, man, they've taken so much back. You'd think there'd be some kind of dead cat bounce. And of course, if the bounce is going to, maybe you get long from around 3,000. The bounce is tiny to get a double out. So just keep it, just consider it. Maybe you've already traded. If you're one of the regulars around here, you maybe already have some of this, but, so Popo's like, it's not a good chart. I like the Solzilla chart more. It's just one that's cheap. So I'm looking at it going like, it's pretty damn cheap. Or it's getting pretty damn cheap. And I'd say the same about like Von Speed was another favorite, also a cat meme. So I guess they're all cats pretty much. This one looks horrible too, but damn, it's getting cheap. So I'm just kind of watching these thinking like, yeah, if I can buy these super cheap here and then we do head into a bull run a year from now, will any of these make it? Because any of them, as long as they don't disappear or like fall out of favor, like if they can kind of just stay I don't know, like just stay in the game, then something like this, look at that move that they've taken back. It's just been straight down now for a while here. You'd think there'd be like a decent bounce coming at some point. So I haven't done anything here actually yet. I do have a free position on this thing, but I haven't reloaded on this one. I have been nibbling that Popo. And that's about it for Solana's names that I'm interested in. I'll just GME was one I missed, but like this, the only reason I want to mention this one is this one's taking a lot of the volume right now too. And man, I was talking about it yesterday right here and didn't do anything, and now it's ripping. But this is GameStop on Solana, some GameStop meme coin. But it's just been interesting to see. This one's been like sort of up in the top of volume here, along with Wen over the last day. And this is a pretty good example of a typical new name. It ripped straight up, but it did give you a dip. So it's like, it's hard to judge how late is late for aping here, like trying to ape into these. I've experimented with it a lot over the last month, and I'll admit I've gotten run over quite a bit. But that's a tough trade. But if you can get in and get long early, then it's very fruitful. But you can also always wait for these dips. Like, what do you think that is? Like, that's probably 78.6, right? Yeah, so you can see how if you'd have just waited patiently for that panic dump, then 78.6 became a really interesting place to be a buyer on that. So anyway, that's just one I had on my list there. So there's some Solana names that I'm chewing on, and the main point with the Solana names is I'm just kind of hunting the sort of kind of more ones that I feel comfortable with because I've been trading them and they seem a little bit more established. And I'm going to just see if I can buy those cheap levels, and if they make it, I think they'll do well. So anyway, what else I got? It's an hour and 15 minutes already. I could talk a little bit more about some altcoins. I don't know if I don't know why I can't seem to I have a hard time preparing like a full-on I mean, I always just kind of like bounce around when I do these shows. I don't know how to actually lock it into more of a format, but it is just a live stream and I am just kind of rambling on. So I suppose it just is what it is. My intention was just to highlight some levels here today, though. I think that's the only way I can really, I suppose the only help I could offer people would be maybe trying to impart my, what I know about technical analysis and trading plans and stuff. That's fine. But also just telling you the levels I'm interested in, then you can go and decide if you like them or not. I don't really like getting into making predictions, so I don't really want to like sit here and try to predict where everything's going. I just basically just keep repeating myself and saying I'm going to buy W's, I'm going to buy pullbacks to 78.6. I suppose crypto stocks, I don't have tons to say, but I did get a couple fills and they did present nice bounces, but it's like the crypto stocks kind of bounced. I'm still trying to get filled on most of them, but like, I mentioned this BTCM, I don't know if it was last week or a couple weeks ago, and it did dip down into my, I was just hunting that gap at 61.8. Pretty decent bounce there, and now they're taking it back so far. Yesterday was nice and strong. Now it's looking a little weak. I still think my bid down here will probably get filled. I don't remember if I actually put a bid down here yet, but I'm just trying to average into these. So like if I can get filled 2 more times down the road, that seems cool. Just like those Solana coins or whatever, there's tons of upside. If this thing can stay in the game until the bull, then this is going to do really well. So I bought that one and I bought Wolf. And then the rest I'm still just waiting on. This one also kind of a better bounce here. This one kind of came deeper because it went to 78.6. And same thing, I was just looking for fills against these gaps that got put in here. Perfect example of the kind of reactions that you expect to see here. I mean, this is actually like an old 78.6 level too, because technically it's already been tested a bunch here. And to be fair, I actually did bang out a double in that first move, bought it back here at 78.6, and really, I don't know, maybe it runs up and gives me another double here shortly. I don't know. But I think likely it'll still bang around here for a bit. But man, don't underestimate these because like, look at this one's upside. Holy shit. I think last time I drew that line up there as a potential area, and that's $26. So it's a solid 20, well, I don't know, almost 20x or something. So anyway, those are the only two that I bought, and then I'm still just I won't get into the stocks too much because they're all the same. But it was things like Riot, I'm still waiting for 78.6. I just want it to come down a little deeper, and I haven't seen that yet. It's basically just bouncing off 61.8. So I'll keep everybody posted on crypto stocks as I feel like I to be fair, I did those BTCM and Wolf. I gave people plenty of notice. If you're interested on those, I mean, I talked about it in the chat. I talked about it on these shows. I posted the levels, and just trying to do my best to do that. And that's one of the things that we offer, I think, at Crypto Traders Arena. That's what we're trying to do, is offer trade ideas. And so we're pretty good at coming up with trade ideas, and we're in the process of sort of redesigning our Discord a little bit to make that even simpler. But of course, we're just trying to we're going to have rooms for basically all time frames of trading, and we're just trying to come up with ideas for everybody to chew on. And of course, I suppose if you really want to go deeper into Crypto Traders Arena, you could consider joining the VIP down the road once you're a premium member and actually trade directly with Stefan and Paul and just literally take their trades. We do have that service that we offer. We don't advertise it much because really, if you want to be a VIP member, you've got to come on board as a premium member first, and I don't know, at least kind of prove that you know how to manage your position size and you can operate in the market. Because as much as they highlight the trades, you still have to manage the trade. So it's not something we just let everybody jump in on, but if that's something that interests you, you could always reach out to them about that. And of course, becoming a premium member is a requirement, so you got to do that first anyhow. But if you are a premium member, we have we now have the scalping and degen room, which would be like Solana meme, everything from like Solana meme coins up to even like scalping futures markets on like 1 minute, 5 minute, 15-minute time frame kind of trading. And then we have our just like sort of swing trading and position trading kind of room, which would be more like hourly charts, 4-hour charts, trying to maybe taking trend continuation trades on some of the pullbacks that are coming in right now. And then we have the weekly investment ideas, which are open to the public, basically. So if you're a free member, then you basically, we'll see our weekly chart ideas going forward, and those might show up in a couple different ways. They could show up on the Sunday show as our crypto weekly review plan, which is sort of a simplified plan of the top 100 market cap coins, or they might just show up as one of our gladiators posting an idea or me posting levels. And truthfully, I'm going to try it because I have my own room on the premium room, or premium side of the server, but I think we're changing that up a little bit. I'm not going to post my own room. It just adds an extra room that we don't need. But I am going to try to make sure that everything I talk about in this show basically gets a screenshotted chart thrown in that room with the levels on it, so that even if you don't watch the show, you could always scroll through and just see the levels that I'm basically highlighting, because this is pretty much all I'm going to be doing here for the rest of the year is drawing fibs and, and working levels on names. So I'll try my best to post them all in there. So, and of course, if you want to see that, you just have to join our Discord. You go to cryptotradersarena.com, join our Discord, and then you can see that. You can also see the spreadsheet from the Sunday show, which actually does have all of our levels documented for that plan as well. And yeah, and slowly but surely, we're just kind of refining our group, trying to make it as good as possible. And really, for me, it's all about trying to highlight what we do well. I've been thinking about that a lot lately, and I think what Crypto Traders Arena does well is we offer like consistency. I think we're a pretty good example of what it takes to be a consistently profitable trader, in the sense that we're showing up every day. We've identified our setups, and we've vetted them, and we've built plans around them, so that now it's just a matter of executing them on a daily basis or whatever the time frame we're working in. And I think we do that a pretty good job. I think we do a pretty good job of that, and I think we do a pretty good job of highlighting trade ideas ahead of time. Like, we're not really big on posting ideas after they're too late to buy. Of course, it does happen, but like, we're trying to post these ideas ahead of time. And that's kind of the point of doing these shows and shit. Like something like this riot, even on my screen. I mean, I'm trying to stay in the game here. I want to buy this. It's not really buyable right here. I just want to be highlighting my level here and make sure I have my bids working. Like, I'm a little bit on the fence about Riot and Mara just because I don't like the previous structure as much, but so I might even be a little more patient and wait for a real W here, but either way, I'm going to be talking about it a lot. Let's see, there's another couple requests. I suppose. Oh, T-Whiff. Yeah, T-Whiff was sort of like a bust. T-Whiff that was a Trump one, which I do think the Trump ones going forward might have some life. But yeah, like, I mean, I'll only bring it up because it's a good example of one of the failures. Like, I didn't do well on this. In fact, this one grinds my gears a little bit. I'd say this one's dead now, though. I wouldn't really recommend, well, I don't know about dead. These things can make pretty huge moves off the lows if you catch the lows. However, it's like, I don't think the momentum's really behind this one. My trade, this is Trump with hat. My stupid trade is like, I was in here buying, it went right to my double level. I never got a sell off. And then it almost went to my double level and I didn't get a sell off. And then it hit my level again and I had a limit order working. And then I don't know, I had the zeros wrong. My limit order must have been, I don't know what, it wasn't there. I thought I had a limit order right there. So I was like, oh, finally I hit it. And then I didn't. And then look what happened after. So this one was just a dog. What can you do? They're not all winners. And in hindsight, looking at it, I don't know. I was just kind of aping, you know. It wasn't really the kind of trading that I like to do. It was more just like, oh, fuck it. I'm just going to, I mean, to be fair, I was probably looking at a much smaller chart then, or lower time frame. I mean, like, yeah, you can kind of, I was buying before the W, but the W did eventually come in. I was just sort of buying the lows here. Not the best entry. But to be fair, it still doubled. And that's the thing that's why I love these things. Like, hopefully the volatility stays in here because these things, I mean, look, that was a double probably off that low. You could have bought those lows and gotten a double. I mean, I'm just saying they move around a lot. But yeah, T-Whiff kind of a bust. And to be fair, most of them fail. Like, most of the shit fails. Or like most of it goes, well, most of it does exactly this. There's usually some sort of push out the gate, and then if it can't maintain it, it just turns into a big M like this and then slowly works its way down to zero. And if you're like feeling risky, these moves can be epic off the lows. So it's like, that's the thing, is like, I don't really have a problem with trying to take a shot off these lows here. You can see it, like, hell, it went from, I don't know, is that 10x? Jesus, how far was that? No, that's like 400%. But still, point being, like, that was a pretty big move, you know? So once they do kind of base, they will rocket off the lows. It's just hard to decide whether it's worth taking a shot on these because they could also just as easily go to zero. But that's kind of what I was trying to make the point earlier of, like, I'm sort of in the mode of trying to stick to sort of the sort of more established ones that are coming back down to the reload zone and just trying to nibble away at those for hopefully having a bigger payoff down the road. And then maybe, you know, see how the shit coins go here after the Jupiter airdrop, and probably still ape into a few of them for sure. But I don't know. I don't know how long this meme coin shit can last. It might last a lot longer than we think, but I just feel like maybe it's a good time to run out of gas a little bit and maybe need to reset up. But I shouldn't even say that because I don't have anything to really base that on. It seems like Solana is just getting bigger and bigger. Anyway, so I think we'll look at a couple more of these requests here really quick. WinR is one from Hanya, which I don't know if, I guess that's sort of like a Uniswap kind of thing, maybe. What does it look like here on Poloniex? Let me know, Hanya, if this isn't the right thing, but this is Poloniex. I don't know. I mean, location's definitely okay. Like, that looks like the W breakout is maybe that level, or even that level is a little tight W, which is sort of validated by the Wyckoff check there. So I like that W. You can see how they broke it out and then retested. I mean, shit. Again, I hate to sound like it's just like a broken record kind of trading stuff, but I mean, look at this. It's just like a W breaks out, retests, and launches off the retest. So if you can frame a whole trading plan just off of buying that level. I mean, of course, that's called a Wyckoff check or bullish retest, or you know whatever W breakout retest. Call it whatever you want, but it happens on every time frame, and it happens all the time. Like, I mean, it's not always guaranteed, but it happens so damn much that it's you can easily build a trading strategy just based off that. And so that's what happened back there. Now I think that level's still pretty good though as we come down into it. I mean, this is a giant M, to be fair. It's like a huge M. So kind of seems like whatever rally this was is now on pause. So like you got to just hunt your pullback. But you know, if you like the name 786, it's basically sitting right around there almost now, just a little bit more of a dip, and then a dip down into that 047 level seems good. So I'm okay with just like sort of nibbling that level, but it's always more prudent to wait for a new W, I'd say. But I mean, that's the thing is, I don't know, like, so Render's ripping to new highs, and yeah, maybe we don't get to buy Render, but there's definitely altcoins that are pulling back right now. It's just, I guess the key here is try to not pick the ones that are too shitty. I don't know how to, I'm not sure how to qualify that, but like, yeah, you know, like I have some names in my list that like haven't quite performed. Like this FIS just came to mind. This was one of my calls from like a month ago or 2 months ago, even. I don't know. It just hasn't done anything yet. Like, I mean, it's got the W. It's certainly not broken. It's actually sitting above the W level still. OBV's kind of breaking, but not really. And it's just sort of sitting here. So I don't know what's going to happen to something like this. Like, do you buy it still, or do you think it's not really performing, or it's not that great because it hasn't performed yet when other altcoins are ripping? I'm not totally sure. I mean, I'm already long, so it doesn't really matter. But when I see something like this, I'm like generally positive about it. It just hasn't really been doing much. Yeah, we'll see. I do like buying dips against the W again still, though. But so anyway, there's stuff like that which is super buyable. It's just has it not performed because it sucks? I don't actually know. You guys are now throwing Solana shitcoins in as requests. Frogo and used car. Used car is another one that's driven me crazy, man. God. I don't have a double on this one yet. Shockingly. It's shocking to me that I didn't get a double on this thing. And now it's totally broken. Yeah, like I mean, I don't, again, didn't have like the best entry. I was like long from this area, and I was basically just buying the breakout to the 21, seeing if I could, and you could see the move happen, but they missed my level. Never wanted to get up there again. And now it's just fully trending down. So does not look particularly good here, but this one's got a great idea. I love the meme. Gently used 2001 Honda Accord. Actually, I got to go to their website. This one has a great website because this one, dude, I love this shit. It's so funny because people actually started like buying these cars and shit just to, but like they're like, these guys are all posting their car. Or I don't know. This one's funny to me. I don't know if you've ever had a 2001 Honda Accord, but man, they are. That's a good ass. That's a car that'll run forever. Anyway, excuse me. Jesus. Hopefully, what were you saying about used car? Also got a bit lame. Yeah, yeah, oh yeah. See, you're already Richard. Already, yeah, it's a dud. I mean, it had a lot of hype. I will just say though, but like this one had pretty fair amount of hype. It's already at 8.1 million market cap, as a matter of fact. Which, if anything, just shows you that if this one can get to 8 million, those other ones I was talking about, you know, hunting. I mean, I'm thinking 10 million is conservative. So if you can find these that are like at 1 million and have a reasonable chance of getting to 10 million, then, I mean, that's where you might even end up with like much bigger trades later if it goes to 30, 40, or 50 million. You know, I don't know. But what I will say about this one is it seems likely to make it. So, you know, it is coming down into like levels that are worth considering. It's just trending down strongly right now. So, it's like that's 88.6 probably about there. I don't have 88.6 on here. Let's see. Thought I did, but I really wish Screener. I wish you could save templates like you can on TradingView. That'd be awesome. Oh wait, 836. What the hell am I? 836. I mean, you can see 88.6 is right around that breakout level. So, I mean, I do like the idea of like considering this down at that level as it comes down. I mean, that's 17, so double's just, a little bit. And this is the thing, this is like a 21 EMA here. And if this gets really far away from that 21 and you can get a double out on a move back to the 21, that's pretty likely to happen. So that's just going to look something like this probably, like even higher. Like if you bought that level and your double is just here, something like that. And this 21 is going to be sort of pointing down here. But if you can just get that trade off, I like that. However, that's risky because this doesn't have a bottom yet. So even coming down into here, like, yeah, I could easily see it hitting that level and bouncing to a double. No problem. Doesn't mean it's going to happen for sure, but point being, I still like the idea of it down here, especially if it puts in a new W there, then I'd be willing to consider it again. I'm kind of annoyed that I was just of all the trades I've taken, this one's just been, it's like hasn't gone to zero and it hasn't doubled. It's hilarious. And holy shit, man, has there been a lot of doubles on Solana? Like tons. I mean, to be fair, a lot of them double and then go to, well, when I say go to zero, I don't mean all the way to zero, but basically. And so, and to be fair, also my general strategy here, that's a whole other thing I kind of want to talk about more, but I mean, the basic a bunch of free positions of all this shit and just hope that a couple of them go nuts. So, and then I also want to make more Solana. Like I think, I mean, Solana's probably going to go to $1,000. I don't know. Let's look at Solana really quick and just, I mean, I don't know. Like I saw somebody say something interesting. They said, Ethereum went from $8 to like 150 and then it dipped hard. And then it went to 1,200 in like the 2017 cycle, I guess that was. Yeah, because like at the end of 2016, Ethereum ground down to like $6 or $7. And the reason I know that is a painful story in itself. Because that was sort of before I knew anything about trading, and I sold the fucking Ethereum bottom in like September of 2016, I guess that was. Yeah, but anyway, that's just anyway, so they were saying, they expected the same amount of Solana, and I don't know. I figure like, where's the $1,000? That's a pretty big move for Solana, 10x from here. But it seems like it could do that. But even if it doesn't do that, I like in 2017, altcoins were super lucrative if you were trading them against BTC. Like at the time, there wasn't as much stablecoin trading. And so everything was being traded against Bitcoin. And what happened is if you're banging doubles out on altcoins, you're getting Bitcoin back and you're building your Bitcoin stack, and then Bitcoin ripped up to 20K. And so you like compounded your gains like in a pretty substantial way. And so I see the same thing as this is like these Solana meme coins. I just want to trade them back into Solana and then hold that Solana as a de facto free position in Solana and just ride Solana to the pi cycle top kind of thing, just like our other plan. And maybe it's 500 or 4, maybe it's only even like 260. That's still only like a double here. But if you're banging out a bunch of free Solana along the way, maybe a couple of these meme coins go 100x. Most of them go to zero. So anyway, the plan's like two parts. It's kind of like banging out doubles on shit coins and then hoping some of them go really high. And things like that when, man, who knows? Maybe that when is considerably higher at the sort of height of the bull run down the road. And it, that could be one I could totally see maybe that airdrop becomes worth quite a lot more. But anyway, that's kind of my general plan here is like, can I make more Solana, hold that Solana, and then see how Solana can go? That's the general plan. And then maybe I even try to hedge that position a little bit along the way. Like if Solana ends up being in a place where I might consider hedging, which like is that right now as we get up into a short reload zone, it's like maybe I'm not that bearish, but like, yeah, as Solana gets up into the reload zone here, just like Bitcoin, you can see how the OBV could potentially turn into an M, and then Solana could potentially turn into an M down the road. It does have a daily M. But anyway, point being is I think Solana could go a lot higher. And if I'm trading my way into it, I mean, I do have a Solana long too, but leaving that aside, if I don't want to buy Solana right here, but if I can earn free Solana from trading shitcoins, that seems like a pretty damn good deal to me. So I'm going to try to do the same thing that happened in 2017, which is just, building up a Solana bag through trading and then trying to ride that up into the highs of the bull run. So, keep in mind that also could work the opposite. If you earn a bunch of free Solana here at $100 and then it goes down to $20, it kind of kills your gain. So of course the opposite is true, but that's not what I'm like thinking. Anyway, I'll look at Paul's Frogo just for the hell of it. Cause we talked about this one earlier today in the New York session. I suppose I should probably wrap it up here, as a matter of fact, too. Geez, I hope I said something worthwhile. I felt a little unprepared, to be honest, and I don't know. But I am just trying my best to be as informative as possible and also just have some fun. And more, I just want to be involved. Like I feel like more, I don't know, I feel like I want to get involved in like a project or like build something in crypto lately. That's like, for some reason, I just feel like that. I don't know. I haven't really gotten too involved in that way. I was involved in a couple of like sort of potential ICO projects in 2017. Like I was a consultant on one, and that was pretty fun. But I don't know. I want to get involved in something. I mean, of course, we have a lot of plans for our group, but I also want to just be more involved in the technology of crypto here going forward. So hopefully, I can, I don't know, drum something up to have fun with in the future. And of course, still keep trading away, but I just feel kind of more excited about crypto these days. Anyway, Frogo, I know Paul likes this little W. I mean, how could you not? It's coming in right now. This is a pretty good one. Like, this is another one, kind of like it's like, is it dead? It sure looks pretty dead. This one has a great story, and then they sort of ended up, it's like, I guess they stopped tweeting and they're not really active right now, but it has a funny story. It's like the Pepe of Lord of the Rings kind of thing. It's like Frojo is really what it is. It actually, I love that dude. So.
Has changed.
I love his hair. That's killer hair. Anyway, sorry. It's got a pretty good story, but I guess it's sort of dead in the water. But I don't know. Like this is the kind of one that could pop off a 10xer here off the lows. Like I've seen it happen a bunch on these. It's just which ones do you take? I mean, the W is right there. I can't really fault anybody for just buying that W. It's coming in right as we speak. And like, where's 10x here? Like if we bought that W, let's see here. I don't know, somewhere around here. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe I could see that thing popping up 10x here. It's just hard to say. I mean, maybe 10x is a little bit, maybe 5x or something would be a little bit more reasonable. Point being, I think I could see how, you could bang a double out before we hit the 21 EMA. The only thing is that's why I like the 21 EMA, and maybe not on the daily chart as much, but like if we look at it on like a 4-hour chart, it'll probably give us an idea. Oh, it looks good. Yeah, you can kind of see how like kind of had W's come in here, but just right up into 21 EMA resistance because the 21 was still trending down. It hadn't really started turning yet. But now this is a much different. I love that consolidation around the 21 there and now breaking out through it in a W. That's like, That's a sign to me that the trend might be starting to the upside. Like it's like this might mark the bottom and we might start trending higher. I do like that. Not really a W in the moving average, but it's still, I bet there'll be a retest of the 21 here. That's a potential area to think about buying. Is, as it breaks out and then comes back against the 21. And if you see any support against the 21 there, then that's a good sign. So I like that. On the daily chart, the 21 was resistance, but it's pretty high. So like you could bang out a double before it runs into that resistance pretty easily. I don't know. Maybe I'll take, this is another one that I have a free position on that also just kind of melted down. And maybe fuck it. I think I heard Paul say he already bought some. Maybe I'll just go and, I'm going to go buy this when I stop this show here in a minute. Maybe I'll just go put on a little bit and just got to feed the addiction. Got to keep the dopamine hits coming. Anyway, I've gone on way too long, I think. Probably gonna call it a day here at an hour and 45 minutes. Hopefully I said something that was helpful. If not, then please send me some feedback and tell me how I can do better. Definitely want to improve these shows. I do feel like they get too long, but then I just try to be like, well, fuck it. Like an hour, I don't know. It is a live stream. You guys can, you don't have to listen to the whole thing. I'll just keep doing what I do. Maybe they'll always be this long. I don't know. I'm going to keep working on some other types of content for the YouTube channel in general, though. So hopefully we'll have some more like pre-recorded content. I'd really like to make some different types of things other than just talking charts all the time. Maybe get into like some more sort of fundamental analysis of some of these names, or maybe fundamental analysis isn't the right word, but just sort of unpacking them and see what they are and what, see if there's anything interesting out in the crypto world that we want to buy. That might be fun. So anyway, always would appreciate any feedback, and thanks to everybody that's been helping out. Hanya, you're in here. Thank you so much Hanya's helped us basically like redefine our image of our, just sort of the graphical image of our group, which is a lot of fun, and made a lot of cool images that have immediately translated to our Twitter looking better and our YouTube looking better and websites looking better. Even our Discord's looking better. So yeah, we're just kind of making progress in that way. I think the next step is actually to kind of maybe start working on like the, we did the visual sort of narrative of our group. Now it's kind of like why can't I use my words? That's the funny thing is I'm trying to say, it's like now time to make the sort of story around it, like kind of write all the copy for like what we do and what we're offering to people. I think that's sort of falling on Paul and I to kind of start, working that out, making our Discord a little more seamless. So when you join, you kind of know how to get value out of it. Like, so it's clear to like a person where they could find the value. Cause honestly, I do think we offer a lot of value that I feel like I don't see it around that much in terms of just like I was saying earlier, like sort of staying in the game and being consistent and always offering trading ideas and always sort of having our view of the market and sort of our game plan set up in the future. I think that's where I think if anything, at bare minimum, we're consistent traders. For all of our possible faults at running YouTube channels and all that shit, we show up and we consistently trade. And I think we're pretty good examples of this idea that trading is not about one particular trade, but it's about can you formulate a strategy that you can execute across like 100 trades, and then after that 100 trades, can you look at the data you collected and analyze it to see where your strengths and weaknesses are, and can you restructure your plan to maybe do more of what's working and less of what doesn't, and can you just keep kind of repeat that process of building out this way of expressing your edge, like whatever that edge is in the market. Like if in this case, if you're a W buyer, then your edge is W's. Market structure W's are your edge. So you got to just you build a whole strategy around being able to take 100 of these W's over the next couple months or however long it takes you. And I think we do a pretty good job of just sort of showing up like that on a daily basis. And now we've got almost 2 years under our belt, not quite, a year and a half of basically doing that without any breaks in our consistency. So if that, I mean, I do think our group is more for people that want to take trading seriously. I don't think our group is really that well suited for people that just, want to get rich quick, that don't want to recognize that the actual work and it does take to sort of maintain consistency. So, we are teaching people how to do this stuff too. So if that interests you, you certainly could sign up for our Capio 1, which is our intro to trading program. And really, this is the last week. Actually, we'll probably be closing the registrations this week. So if that does interest you, hit me up on Discord or through Twitter or whatever. But we'll be firing that up, I guess, next week. Yeah, it'll start. So anyway, I'll let you know more about that as it goes. And that's something we'll probably offer more in the future, but it won't be for a few more months down the road. So 4 months, that is. Anyhow, I'll let you all go. Thank you so much. Yeah, anyway, I'm out of words to say, but thank you all so much. I'll be back on, I guess, on Sunday with Paul to talk weekly crypto review. And then I don't know. Let me know if you guys prefer me doing the show a little bit earlier, like today. I know Hanya's probably the one that doesn't, but I know the Europeans probably like it. And then if you're in the US like I am, then it's just in the middle of the day. So maybe that's good. I'm pretty flexible. I do like to trade the futures market, so that's why I was you doing the show a little later. But in fairness, like by the time I started today, usually that trading's wound down. And to be fair, I'm kind of shifting into just trying to focus on crypto a little bit. And I can always, trade the futures market. That's what's cool about it. It's always there. Bull market, bear market, it doesn't matter. Sideways market, there's opportunities to trade that market every day. So I can always fall back on that, but I do want to direct my attention to crypto going forward here this year, because I do think that's where the opportunities are. And including stocks, I don't really have the only stocks I'm really interested in are crypto stocks. So, but anyhow, I'll just leave it at that. Wish everybody a good rest of your Tuesday, and you're welcome, Miroslav. I hope I said your name right. But thanks for showing up. I see you around here a lot. Yeah, I'll just leave it at that. Anyway, take it, everybody. Fuck, I can't even talk. Take it easy, everybody, and have a good rest of your evenings or days. And I don't know, hop in the lounge and say hi if you want. And if you ask any questions or have any requests to look at something, I'm happy to do so. And I will talk to you all later. So take care. Bye-bye.